Hey guys, happy Friday. I'm coming to you today with two pretty simple DIYs, and all the supplies are from Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and Family Dollar. This is one of those wood signs that you get like during the holidays. This one I think was an Easter one, and it's the one that looks like a fence or like pieces of board, glued together. But I just took off the sticker, and then what I'm going to do is at the little seam, or at that, where the lines would generally be for the planks, I'm actually going to make the indentation in there so that it looks like shiplap. And I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife, score it, and then I'm going to take my screwdriver and just keep going over it with the screwdriver until that indentation is in there. And I just like the way this looks rather than drawing them in, because then you get that texture, that little bit of, dimension in there. So I'm going to do this all the way across, and I pre-scored it, so I'm just making the lines in there now. But this video today is part of a collaboration or challenge, and it's called Dollars in My City Summer 2020. And it is hosted by Tammy over at Me, Myself, and DIYing It, and Candy over at DIY Designs by CCW. And they've got some amazing channels. They put up some awesome videos. I don't know how Tammy does it. She's constantly putting up new stuff, always has new content, and it's always amazing. So you definitely want to check out their channels, and I will put the links to their channels in the description box along with the link for the playlist. So go ahead, check them out, and just see what everybody came up with. I can't wait to check it out. And if you're new and you're over here from the playlist, welcome. Thanks for joining. Hope you stick around, hit subscribe, like, do all that good stuff. And for all my returning subscribers, thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate you. Be sure to like the video and share it. So what I'm going to do after I make all the little lines in there is I'm going to take some white paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it on there. And it's not really a dry brush. I'm just kind of putting it on there. Now you can paint it completely, or you can paint it a different color, or you can use whatever technique you want. I want this to look like wood planks or like shiplap when it's done. So this is the technique that I use. And you'll see that I kind of messed up in a little bit when I'm putting on the brown texture to it. But I just fixed it, and I'm going to show you how I did that. It's really simple, nothing, nothing spectacular. But yeah, you just go ahead and you put all the, paint it with the white. And like I said, if you want to do it a different color, you can do whatever color you want. Or if you just want to use the brown, you can just use that too. That works just as well. You just use what you have. You can always just go over that brown part with, the antique wax or some brown paint, or, whatever, if that's what you want to do. So I just went ahead and cleaned out some of that white paint from the grooves there so that you can still see that texture in there. And like, it's pretty simple. And like I said, all the supply. So the point of the challenge today was to make some DIYs from the dollar stores that are in your area. And I have Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and Family Dollar. Although the Family Dollar is a little bit further and I don't go there very often, I did go, and I was able to find a couple things. So I used one of the things that I found there. And yeah, so that's all I did. So that's part of the challenge, and then just use those pieces to make, some DIYs. So that is what I did. Now, once you're done doing this, I just kind of went over it with my heat gun to make sure that it was dry, so that the brown that I'm going to put over it doesn't blend in with it as much. But this is kind of where I made my mistake at. I took some, I think it's called coffee bean or vanilla bean paint, and I watered it down, and watered it down to make it like a stain. It's called coffee bean. It was too light. It kind of had this weird pinkish, like mauve tone to it. and I kind of committed to it real quick, and then I looked at it and I was just like, oh, I do not like it. It came out really light, and like I said, it looks mauve. The color that you're seeing is, I mean, that's kind of exactly what it looks like, and I did not like it at all. So what I did was, I was trying to work with it, trying to see if I liked it, and it wasn't working for me. So I dried that with my heat gun so that I could go over it with my white paint again. So that's all I did. I dried this and then I went over it with my white paint again. Now, when I went over it, as I was going over it with the white paint, and I've been using the same brush for all of it, so whether it has paint on it or not, I just keep going with it. It's not a big deal. But as I was going over it with the white, I didn't cover all of it up. I just kind of let some of it come through, but not too much of it, because I figured once I put the antique wax, which I was trying to avoid because I didn't want to have to do the wait time for it to dry, because you can't use the heat gun for the antique wax because it doesn't work. So you have to kind of let that one air dry. I didn't want to do the wait time, but I figured I would go ahead, use my antique wax, and just let it sit while I was working on my other project. So that's what I did. So that's how you fix it. It's not a big deal. There's always a way to fix most things. Most of your little mishaps can be fixed. So this is just kind of what happened. And I was going to delete it and just kind of show you the finished product, but I figured, you know what? Learning moment, and show you guys how to fix it. So there we go. I went over it with the white paint, and once that was dry, I got my brown or my antique wax from Waverly, and that's always been my go-to. And I don't know why I was trying to use this this paint. I guess I was just trying to do something different, but I'm gonna stick to what I know works. So I went back to my Waverly antique wax. So I'm cleaning out the grooves again because all that paint got back in there, and I want those, those lines to show through. And so I cleaned those out. And this actually looks nice just like this, but I kind of wanted that wood look. I didn't want the whitewashed so much. So yeah, I would have left it like this, and you can leave it like this, and the little bit of brown shows through. This looks really nice, but it doesn't really match my decor. I have a lot of woods in my house, so I wanted to darken it up. So here I go with my Waverly wax, antique wax, and you just go in and dry brush it on there and make it look the way you want it to look, and make it as dark as you want, as light as you want, whatever. And I was trying to be careful because every time I do this, I put too much on the paper, and I hate wasting my paints and waxes and all that stuff. So I was just trying to be really careful. But anyway, so you go ahead, you dry brush this on there until it looks the way that you want it to look. And I had to take a sip of my coffee. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so here we go. And I love this stuff. I just don't like that you have to let it dry. That's my biggest pet peeve about this Waverly wax paint, is that you have to let it air dry. You can't use the heat gun on it, which kind of sucks. So this is what this is what you do. Now, if you want, once this is dry, you can go over it again to kind of darken it up if you want it to be darker, because if you keep going over it like this, it's just going to blend it into the white. So you don't want to keep doing that. So you just wait till it dries, and then you go ahead and you can darken it up. And if you want to go over it again with a little bit more white and whitewash it, you can do whatever you want. This is just kind of the technique that I've always used, and how it works for me. And I have other woods in my house that are the same color, so that's why I do it this way. I just keep going over it. And I thought I cut most of this out, but I guess I didn't. I figured this would be my time where I do the challenge description and all that stuff, but whatever. I didn't cut it out. But I do have 2 videos going up today, so I'm in 2 challenges. I guess I didn't really pay attention to the times and the dates and didn't realize I had two of them. So I have two videos going up today. So I hope you guys enjoy them. I hope you get some inspiration from them. And I did just take the heat gun to make sure that the paint underneath was dry. But then I just set that to the side and I start working on my next project. And the next project, I got this, I don't know, tray. I thought it was like a tray from Dollar General. It was on sale for $4. Then I got this planter, and it was, I think it was $3 and it was on clearance. I don't remember. But the plate or tray was on clearance for $4, and then it was another 50% off. So I only paid $2 for the tray and like $1.50 for the little pedestal thing. And then I used some of the nautical rope from Dollar Tree, and I just wrapped it around that edge part of the table. I think this is like a plant holder. And I used that Dollar Tree rope around that. And then this tray had like a chain on it. So I think it was actually meant to be like a little hanging plaque thingy. But I just pulled the chain off, and I actually used that chain in a different DIY later. But yeah, I just pulled it off. I didn't try and take it out of the, excuse me. I didn't actually try to take the little pegs out of the tray. I didn't want to break a hole in it. So anyway, so I'm going to take this nautical rope and I'm going to wrap it around and around and around this pedestal, just on the top, just to kind of cover up that hole. I thought it would look kind of weird with just that like open space there. So what I'm going to do is just make a little table, and it could be a plant holder. And I know this is already a plant holder, but I thought the little tray on top of it was perfect. You can use this out on your patio as like a little, cup side table and put your glasses in and stuff. And you could just use it inside as a plant holder. And this is optional. You don't have to put the rope around it. Excuse me, but I just thought that it would, cover it up and make it look nicer. So that's what I did. And I just wrapped it around, and I only hot glued it on a few of the, the spots there. I didn't do the whole thing. Yeah, so that was it for that. And I just wrapped it around and wrapped it around and wrapped it around. And yeah, so I've got quite a few DIY videos coming up. I'm part of a few challenges. So there'll be a lot of videos coming up, and so you definitely want to stick around and check everything out. So after I wrapped it all up, make sure that all the, there's no pieces that are kind of pushing through or whatever. Made sure all that was hot glued. And I'm sorry, the angle is kind of weird, but it's a table and I have my camera up above, so it's kind of hard to get the whole thing in there. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that little tray right on top of it, and I just hot glued it on there and it's stuck. And if you're a newbie, or even if you're not a newbie, Gorilla glue sticks are the bomb. They are the best glue sticks. I don't use anything else, and I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but I have been using these Gorilla glue sticks forever, and they are the best. They bond quickly. They bond pretty, not permanently, but until you want it to come apart for the most part. Everything sticks. So I'm just taking some more of the glue and putting it on the inside so you can't see it, on the outside of the table, just making sure that it's secure there. And this is done after that. I just thought it was a nice, cute little way to, I guess, upcycle or upgrade, or I don't know what you would call it, but I just, I thought it was cute. I don't plant. I don't do well with flowers. They die. I can't. I have to keep my kids alive and I have to feed them. I forget about plants and watering them and stuff. So, this probably won't be holding any plants, but I think I'm going to take it outside, and I have a little, I have a gazebo and stuff. So I think it's going to go up there. So that one's done. Now we're going to go back to our sign. And I got this cute sign at Dollar Tree, and it says, wash your hands and say your prayers because Jesus and germs are everywhere. And I thought that was the cutest thing. So obviously it's not going to fit on there the way that it is on the sign. So I just cut it up and fit it on there. And it stuck really well. I was having trouble getting this piece off because it was kind of weird on there, and I wanted to adjust it, but it didn't want to come out. And so I was trying to mess with it and take it off because there was like a bubble on that E or the S, and I was trying to fix it, but it was giving me a hard time, so I didn't want to pull the whole thing off. So I just did it like that, and that worked out fine. So I fixed that little bubble in there, and then I went ahead and I put the other pieces on there. And I had a piece of like rope from some other project that I did, and it was like a dark brown kind of leather looking leather little piece of rope. And that's what I used to hang my picture up. I was going to put some like jute twine in there, but then I remembered I had this cute little brown leather rope, and then so that's what I used. So I just went ahead and I stuck these on there and placed them where I wanted them. And if you want, you can go over it with like some Mod Podge. I didn't do that. I just kind of, they stuck on there really well, so I didn't put it on there. Now I might, if I'm going to put this in my bathroom, I'm probably going to go over it with some Mod Podge, but I think I'm just going to hang it on my door of the bathroom. So now I'm looking for that piece of rope. I had it and I couldn't find it, but it fell on the floor. My son came and kind of swiped it and it fell on the floor. So I found it and I just tied it in there, and that's what I used to hang it up. I just put it through the hole and I tied a knot on the back of both sides, and it worked out perfectly. There was a little kink on the top, but as it hangs, it'll go away, so I'm not worried about that because I guess that's where it was folded at on the other piece that it was on. So yeah, just tied a knot on there, and I think it is cute and perfect, and I think it'll look great in my bathroom, or actually on the door of my bathroom. So that's it. And like I said, you can cover it with Mod Podge or any other kind of like sealer. And that's it. So here you go. This is what they look like all done, and until my next video, be the reason someone smiles. Bye.